Murray, the F1 website says that statistically Michael Schumacher is the greatest driver. Do you regard him as the greatest?
Well, it's contentious and it's difficult to prove one way or the other. In fact, it's impossible to prove because you can't really accurately compare drivers of one generation with drivers of another. They've driven in different cars on different circuits to different regulations at different times altogether. Having said that, obviously statistically he is by far the greatest. I mean, if Michael Schumacher wins the Brazilian Grand Prix this weekend, his 92 wins will equal those of Senna and Prost, who are regarded rightly as being two of the greatest of all time, put together. That's a mark of how good he is statistically. And he's had more pole positions, he's won more World Championship points, he's led more laps. I think just about every record in Formula One is Michael Schumacher's. So statistically there is no argument at all. So then you get into other things like what other characteristics has he got. Well, Michael Schumacher, in my opinion, and it just has to be an opinion, is the greatest of all time, not just because of the figures, but because in 1995, when he was already a double world champion for Benetton, he voluntarily left the team when he could have stayed and won more world championships to accept the challenge of bringing Ferrari back from the doldrums to the greatness that it had had in the past. And he's achieved that brilliantly, and he's done it by sheer leadership, by persuading the right sort of people to join the team. Ross Brawn, the technical director, Rory Byrne, the design director, and various other people. And Michael Schumacher has led all of them absolutely superbly. Now, on top of that, I think he's an absolutely cracking bloke. Not everybody agrees with me, but I used to interview him virtually every race, and he was always extremely courteous, extremely helpful, very cheerful, came to my leaving party, which I regarded as a very great honour, and he's altogether a top bloke. So for me, he just about shades Fangio, who I always regarded as the greatest of all time, until Michael Schumacher came along.
Murray, how would Michael Schumacher and the skills that you admire have translated to perhaps Juan Fangio's car in the 1950s?
Well, who knows? All you can say is if Schumacher had been driving Fangio's car, I believe he would have done extremely well, just as I'm sure Fangio would have done extremely well had he been alive now and been able to drive Michael Schumacher's car. I think the top drivers of their decades are virtually interchangeable. They're great people, they've got all the characteristics that are needed to become world champions and to stay there, and you can translate those talents from one generation to another. So I'm sure that if you put him in a Lotus, or if you put him in a Maserati, or you put him in one of the early Ferraris or a Van Wall, that would have been good to see. If you put him in a Van Wall, he would have been a winner.